Ben here, hi! In this video I show you the cookies section. Here you can do the pure documentation of the cookies used, as well as implement JavaScripts such as Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, Facebook Pixel or Matomo. By default, the Borlabs Cookie is a created cookie that cannot be deleted. This cookie stores the visitor's consent to the cookie groups and cookies. Under external media, JavaScripts are stored that unblock the respective content blockers, such as YouTube videos, if the visitor agrees to the external media cookie group or, to stick with the example, the YouTube cookie. If you click the Add New button for a cookie group, you can create a new cookie for this group. First, you will be asked which service you want to create. The existing services will take some of your work off as they contain all the necessary information to implement the service on your website. By default, Borlabs Cookie provides services to include Facebook Pixel, Google AdSense, Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. You can use the custom service to include almost any other service or JavaScript such as Pivot or Matomo, eTrigger and so on. In this example, we select Google Analytics as the service and click Next. Borlabs Cookie now fills in all relevant fields such as provider, purpose, privacy policy URL, cookie name and cookie expiry. All this information is for documentation purposes only. The cookie name, or in this case the cookie name and cookie expiry, are pieces of information that may change over time, such as when Google changes the lifetime of its cookies. If this happens, you will need to update this information here. The pre-built services sometimes have their own additional settings. In this case, the Google Analytics service will ask for your tracking ID. You can read about where to find your Google Analytics tracking ID in our knowledge base. Below you can see the code that comes with the service. The tracking ID is automatically inserted at the appropriated place in the code when the code is executed on the website. You can also see in the code that Google Analytics is implemented with the IP anonymization setting. The code in the opt-in code field is executed whenever the visitor consents to the cookie. The code in the opt-out code field is only executed if the visitor withdraws their consent to the cookie. The code is then executed once. In the case of the Google Analytics service, however, there is no opt-out code, since Google Analytics is not loaded if the visitor has withdrawn or never given his consent to the cookie. The code in the fallback code field is always executed, regardless of whether the visitor has agreed to the cookie or not. In this case, however, there is no fallback code either. If we choose Google AdSense instead of the Google Analytics service, you will be asked for the publisher ID under additional settings. In addition, the tips section on the right side of the page tells you which JavaScript code you need to embed on your site to display an AdSense ad. You don't need to block this code with the Borlabs Cookie shortcodes because the code has only an effect when Google AdSense is loaded. Now let's go back again and select the custom service. Select this service if you want to include your own code, for example from Matomo. Fill in the ID field and use only lowercase letters and the characters line and underline. Enter a suitable name in the name field. If you are currently entering the code for Matomo, enter Matomo as a name. In the provider field, enter who runs the service. If you host Matomo yourself, enter your name there. Fill in the other fields like purpose, privacy policy URL, hosts, cookie name and cookie expiry. The fields are not mandatory, but the more information you provide here, the better. Further down in the opt-in code field, insert the Matomo code and then click Save All Settings. In the opt-in code and opt-out code fields, you can insert almost any code. Only the JavaScript command document write must not be used. This is not a problem either, as there are better alternatives such as direct DOM manipulation. I hope the video was able to help you to set up Borlabs Cookie further. In the next video, I explain how content blockers work. Thanks for your attention and see you next time.